The sell-off continues into Thursday today. VIX rising above 16, up around a dollar and some change. We're going to take a look at three stocks in here today. Just three kind of basic big boys who have been up here for a little while. But now actually, as everything continued to sell off today, actually all ended in the red as well. First up, we're going to look at Apple in here. We're sitting at 311.30 down. We had a nice little run this week. You can see right here, kind of just coming right off this 300 range right here. Really, technically, it's 303, but we're just going to call it 300 for this video. Nice little doji in here after a big drawdown in here about 4 or 5 weeks ago. So doji last week, figured, hey, a green was coming up. That's what we got in here. But obviously today, a little pullback in here from where we were at our highs yesterday. To the upside in here, we're looking at that 317. We were above it for just a short time yesterday. That's going to be a big resistance. If we can get above that, then we're looking forward to that 330. To the downside in here, we are going to be watching 294 and then 288. And then anything outside of there, really, it's going to be that 280 range. And then eventually, obviously, you have this range right here, 275, where our lower trend line of this overall structure is sitting. Now, as far as your RSI is concerned, basically neutral in here, sitting at 57 MACD, nothing to worry about on that front as well here on the weekly chart. So we're going to see what happens as we finish off the rest of the week in here. And we do have a big earnings cycle, or I guess a big earnings week coming up next week here within this cycle. So we're going to see if that is going to affect things here in Apple as we continue throughout this month. You got about $3 expected move priced in by tomorrow's expiration next Monday, about $5. You go out to next Friday, around $8. If you go all the way out to your September monthlies, it looks like a $16 expected move is being priced in by your options traders. Now, we're also going to take a look at Tesla in here. This was another stock where it was relatively green on the week, but today, big drawdown in here. 345 is where we're currently trading, down around almost 2% on the day. You can see to the upside in here, we are working our way back up to that big 350 level. That is going to be the area in here that we are going to be watching going forward. Anything above there, then we will be focusing on 365. Outside of there, we're going to be looking at that 400. To the downside, we're watching 330. Then we're looking right here at this 314. It seems like that is a level that we've mentioned multiple times in the past year or so as we've been looking at a Tesla, but now that could be a big support for us. Anything outside of that, it is going to be the lower trend line here of this overall structure sitting down there at that big 300 level. Your expected move being priced in Tesla by tomorrow. It looks like it's going to be a $6 expected move. If you go out to Monday, around $9, next Friday, 15, September 18th, your monthly cycle, pricing in about a $30 expected move on relatively low IV in here. So as the VIX has rose, you've seen your IV not necessarily gap up like you would want to in your individual stocks like Tesla and Apple, just because they've been green. And you can see Tesla has strung together three green weeks here in a row. Let's see if we can continue that. It depends on where this candle is going to close tomorrow. Now, finally, the largest company in the whole globe, we are going to be looking at NVDA in here. You can see that we are down trading at that 216 level. What we're looking at in here going forward is going to be all about earnings, right? So August 26th, aftermarket, you have earnings for NVIDIA. That is going to move a lot of the sector. Obviously, it's going to move the whole market. It's going to move the whole NASDAQ, right? So that is what we're looking at in here this next week upcoming. It's all going to be about NVIDIA earnings August 26th. By this Monday's expiration, you got about a $5 expected move. But if you go out to Fridays, it looks like about a $13 expected move being priced in here. So we're going to see what happens as far as our implied volatility, what type of expansion or contraction we're going to get. Are we going to get a short run up? And the question is, when are we going to get that run up into earnings, if anything at all? So we got a little overextended here 3 weeks ago because we just consolidated for too long, right? So we were a tight channel, finally broke out, but this might have been too early, right? So that's why we kind of consolidated last week. green doji in here, figured a pullback was going to happen this week. That's so far what happened in here. We're down trading up against that 9-day EMA. It's currently trading at 212. That's going to be our main support. Anything below there, we're looking at that 202. So we're going to see what happens in here if we get a larger move to the downside. But obviously, we have time between now and August 26th to see what is going to happen in here. To the upside, if we do get a nice little run up in here tomorrow, 220 is going to be obviously a nice psych level. Outside of there, we're looking at this 225. And then above there, we're looking at this 236 area, which is our highs that came back in May. So that is going to be an area that we are going to be watching in here. And then above there, we're looking at the upper trend line of this overall structure. So let's see what happens in NVIDIA, and Tesla and Apple as we continue throughout the weekend here. We're going to see where all our weekly candles close, and perhaps that could give us a little hint of what we could be looking forward to next week in yet another volatile earnings week, especially with NVIDIA earnings coming up on the 26th. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description.